Good morning, my dear students of Senior 3, and we are completing in this video what we started at the last lesson, and we are talking about the last type of the sexual reproduction, which is the top one, which is the king one, which is the master one. It's the alternation of generation phenomena. And this type of sexual reproduction is the most important one, and some students think that it's a difficult type, but you will understand it inshallah very well at this video. So let's start. There are some plants and some animal species that can breed by both the sexual and the asexual reproduction during their life cycles. Why? Why can they do this? To gain the advantages of both methods together. So what is the advantage of sexual reproduction? Excellent, girls, the diversity, the variation. So the sexual reproduction achieves the genetic diversity that enables the individuals to disperse widely and conform with the environmental fluctuations. But what about the asexual reproduction? Yes, the advantage of the asexual reproduction is the very rapid production and the large number of the offspring. This may be associated with the variation of chromosomal numbers in the cells of these alternated generation. So the alternation of generations gains both of the advantages and the advantages of both types of the reproduction and prevents the disadvantages of both types. The alternation of generation is defined, as you can see in the paper, that it's the phenomena of the succession of two or more generations in the life cycles of an organism. Here we can explain it that this organism can reproduce sexual life cycle and asexual life cycle, or maybe more, sexual and asexual, sexual and asexual, sexual and asexual. So it's one sexual life cycle and the other is asexual life cycle, and there may be more than these cycles. Where there is a generation that reproduces sexually and alternates with one generation or more, can you see this? Or more, put a line under more, that reproduces asexually. And this phenomena can be shown by studying the following example. We are having two examples for the alternation of generation, but in this video we are dealing with only one example, or the first one, which is the life cycle of malaria or plasmodium. This is the malaria parasite. What is plasmodium? It's a unicellular organism. It's considered from the sporozoans that parasites on both types of the human and the female Anopheles mosquito. We have about 3,000 types of mosquitoes. We have about 3,000 types of mosquitoes, and here we are dealing with only one type, which is called Anopheles mosquito. In the life cycle of plasmodium, there is a generation that reproduces sexually by gametes. This happens inside the mosquito. Then generations that reproduce asexually by sporogony in mosquito and schizogony in human. So we are having the life cycle of the plasmodium or the malaria parasite, as it's divided into two types, inside the body of the mosquito and inside the body of the human. So in this page, we are dealing with the two types or the two stages of the life cycle of plasmodium, right? The female Anopheles mosquito feeds on the blood of the human, but the males of the mosquito, of these types of mosquito, feeds on the nectar of the flowers, so the males are peacefully. They doesn't affect our bodies, but the female, as you know, we are dangerous kind in the universe. So take care. Yes, take care. This is an attention message. The life cycle inside the human first, and then inside the female Anopheles mosquito. Let's start by the life cycle inside the human body. For example, a human is standing or sitting in a place that contains this kind of female Anopheles mosquito. The life cycle starts when the female Anopheles mosquito that's infected by a parasite bites the human skin. Not all of the kinds of the Anopheles mosquito, of the female Anopheles mosquito, are infected by this plasmodium. The plasmodium is a independent living organism. So when this Anopheles mosquito is infected by plasmodium and then it bites the skin of the human, it pores a minute spindle-shaped structures called sporozoites, which have N genetic material in his blood. Look, when the mosquito bites the human, it secretes some substances like the saliva inside the blood. And this substance to let the man doesn't feel the bite. So when it secretes this substance inside the blood, the sporozoites move inside the blood of the human. The sporozoites move inside the blood to the liver, but silently. Why? Because you will study in chapter 4, the immunity, that the white blood cells, if they take if they saw the plasmodium parasite inside the blood, they will attack him urgently. They will attack him once they saw him. So the sporozoites move with the blood to the liver silently, where they reproduce sexually, they reproduce asexually inside the liver and silently. This period, when they are reproducing asexually inside the liver, is called incubation period. Incubation period in the medical studies shows that it's the period between having the parasite and showing the symptoms of the disease. So it means that these sporozoites are found inside the liver to reproduce. What is schizogony? What is schizogony? It's a way of asexual reproduction. You didn't deal with in the first lesson, but you will understand it now. In the schizogony, the nucleus divides. The nucleus divides to many nuclei, okay? And the cells are formed according to the number of the nuclei. Yani. The nucleus divides by the nucleus, which is N, divides by mitosis to produce 2 nuclei, then 4 nuclei, then 8 nuclei, and so on. It divides, it multiplies the number of nuclei, and then the cells are formed according to the number. Each nuclei have one cell is formed around it. So this is schizogony, right? What about the sporozoites? When they divide by schizogony, okay, they produce a stage which is called merozoites. The merozoites also have N. Why? Because they are dividing by mitosis. So we didn't divide the genetic material. So the sporozoites move with the blood towards the liver, and inside the liver, they spend the incubation period as they will divide by schizogony to produce the merozoites. The merozoites move to the infect the red blood cell. After leaving the liver, they will move to the red blood cells to infect them. They spend several asexual cycles to produce many merozoites. So the merozoite go towards the red blood cell to reproduce also by schizogony, okay? And inside the red blood cell, they come out to form merozoites also. They will come back to attack the red blood cells and to form merozoites also, and come back to attack the red blood cells, and so on for many cycles. And these many cycles produce many merozoites. The merozoites are then released in a huge number after 2 days. They are having 2 days, they are attacking the red blood cells and reproducing. After 2 days, and after the destruction of the infected red blood cells, they rupture the red blood cell and come outside, and toxic substances are released. Meanwhile, the symptoms of malaria fever appears on the patient. They didn't get the attention of the white blood cells, so they are alive. And meanwhile, the symptoms of malaria appeared on the patient, such as increase in the temperature, which is called fever, chill and heavy sweating, and all of these symptoms which may lead to death, okay? After that, some merozoites change into gametocytes. what is happening in this process? The merozoites are getting bigger. As you can see in the drawing in the last page, that the merozoites are very small structures, but after many cycles inside the red blood cell, they got fed and they changed it into a structure which is bigger in size, which is called gametocytes. And the gametocytes have also have the genetic material, which is N, inside the red blood cells that move from the blood of the patient and keep sitting inside the blood of the patient until a female Anopheles mosquito come and bites this infected man. So the gametocytes transfer into the body of the second mosquito. So we are completing in the second stage what's happening when another Anopheles mosquito came and bites this human. The gametes, the gametocytes, are released from the red blood cells, and they are found now at the stomach of the mosquito. At the stomach of the mosquito, we have digestive juices that help in the maturation of the gametocytes to form gametes. So the gametes now will fuse together. They will form fertilization, and they will form zygote, which have 2N genetic material, because N gametocyte and N gametocyte, which are male and female, they form zygote which have 2N. The zygote now will go outside of the stomach of the mosquito. It will go outside, or it will sit on it. It will be in the other part of the stomach. You can see inward or it's outward. The zygote will come out. It will be outward the stomach, and the zygote changes into some structure, very strange structure, which is called ookinete. The ookinete have 2N also. It can penetrate the stomach wall. So the zygote changes into ookinete and penetrates the stomach wall and come outside the stomach. Why didn't it leave this part of the mosquito? Because it feeds on the digestive juices of the stomach. So outside it can suck some of the digestive juices to be fed outside. The ookinete divides meiotically, forming the an oocyst. The cyst, as you know, is a sac. And the oocyst is a sac containing many ookinetes, right? So this, by meiosis, it forms N. So the oocyst have N genetic material. The nucleus divides mitotically. Can you see? Mitotically, by sporogony. So this is the second type of sexual reproduction that happens in the female mosquito's body, sporogony, where it produces many sporozoites. The sporozoites have N, right? Because it divides by mitosis from oocyst to sporozoites, and this considered as an asexual reproduction. The sporozoites, which have N chromosomes, are released and move to the salivary glands of the mosquito. They move forward from the stomach. They got outside the stomach and they moved to the salivary glands of the mosquito, being ready to infect another human. As you can see, this is the end of the life cycle. So again, please, the life cycle inside the human is that an Anopheles mosquito bites a human, infects him with the plasmodium in the form of sporozoites, which have N chromosomes. The sporozoites move with the blood towards the liver, and inside the liver, they reproduce by schizogony to form the merozoites, which have N also genetic material. And the merozoites move to infect the red blood cells, where they spend several asexual cycles, several cycles, and produce many merozoites, huge number of merozoites in 2 days. After the destruction of the infected red blood cell and the toxic substances is released, here we are having the symptoms of the disease, which is increasing the temperature and chill and heavy sweating. These merozoites changes after when they moved in a cycles, for many cycles inside the red blood cell, they are changed into some larger structure which is called gametocyte. It have also genetic material inside the red blood cells, and they move from the blood of the patient to another mosquito. If another mosquito comes and bites this man, what about if there is no mosquito to bite this man? This man will die, and also with it will die the plasmodium. When another mosquito comes and infects or bites this man, the gametocytes transfer into the body or the stomach of this mosquito. Inside the stomach, they feed on the digestive juices, so the gametocytes will form gametes. And the gametes are two types, male and female. They are developed or matured, and they will fuse together, fertilization, to form the zygote, which have two N. The zygote changes into two ookinete, which have two N also, penetrates the stomach wall to get outside, and still sitting on the stomach to be feeded. And the ookinete divides meiotically, forming an oocyst, which have N chromosomes, meiosis, so we have half the number of chromosomes, whose nucleus divides mitotically by sporogony. It produces many sporozoites, again with N chromosomes. This is considered as an asexual reproduction, and the sporozoites are released and move to the salivary glands of the mosquito, being ready to infect another human. So we are having here a sexual reproduction by schizogony and inside the liver, and a sexual reproduction by schizogony inside the red blood cells, and an asexual reproduction by sporogony inside the stomach of the other Anopheles mosquito. At the end, we have do you know? Can you see this part? And in do you know? And in the do you know, the male Anopheles mosquito doesn't infect the human with malaria parasite, as it doesn't feed on the blood. It has sucking mouth parts and use them to feed on flower nectar, while the females has piercing mouth parts by which it sucks the human blood. Gametocytes of malaria plasmodium in the blood of the infected human are considered immature, and inside the female Anopheles mosquito's stomach, their maturation occurs. So we are stopping here, finishing the first example of the alternation of generation, and in the second video, inshallah, we are going to complete the life cycle of the fern plant. Thank you for watching. Wishing you understood every single word in this lesson, and keep safe. Thank you so much, and see you.